On this episode of Ask Dr. Bitcoin, I explain Segwit and show you how to claim your hard forked coins. Stay tuned. Well, hello there. I'm Mark Risen-Hopkins, a cryptocurrency and blockchain enthusiast who's been studying and learning about the space since 2011. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about a couple topics. We're going to talk about Segwit, which is a very commonly asked question. What is Segwit? What does it do? Why is it important? Does it help me lower my fees? We'll talk about that. We'll also be talking a little bit about how to claim your hard forked currencies. There's always some new fork of Bitcoin or fork of Ethereum or fork of Zcash. You name it, there's a hard fork of every project. We'll understand why that's important, what that means, and how to claim your hard fork currencies at the end of that segment. Stay tuned. So today we're going to talk about Segwit. You've probably heard a little bit about Segwit from either the past user-activated soft fork that involved the technology Segwit, or there's an upcoming new fork of Bitcoin called Segwit 2. You may have also heard it in reference to a way to lower your transaction fees. We'll cover all of that today. But to explain how Segwit works and how it works for you, I'm going to have to go a little bit technical and explain to you how a Bitcoin transaction works at a fundamental level. In general, when people think of a Bitcoin transaction, they think, okay, it must be peer-to-peer because that's what I've heard. It's a peer-to-peer currency. We're going to talk about a transaction between Matthew and Andrew. And in this example, Matthew's going to send Andrew a whole Bitcoin. So in here, we think, okay, maybe that's a peer-to-peer connection. In fact, that's not the case. That's not exactly how it works on a technical level. There is an intermediary, although it is a decentralized and headless intermediary. It's called the actual blockchain itself. So we're going to draw the representation of the blockchain here by using a rectangle that has a series of blocks in it. This will be our visual representation of the blockchain. And so in practice, what happens is Matthew will take his one Bitcoin transaction to Andrew, broadcast that to the blockchain, and then Andrew, who will be connected to the blockchain, will see that this transaction has been broadcast and it will show up as an unconfirmed transaction. Now, as is often the case with the Bitcoin these days, there are more transactions being broadcast to it than there are room for it to transact immediately. Every block you see here represents only 1 megabyte of data. And in that 1 megabyte of data has to fit every transaction for that 10-minute period. And so it could easily be at least 20 minutes if you use a low transaction fee before your first confirmation will show up. How can you jump to the front of the line? Let's say the average transaction fee is for this let's call it 25-minute period, is $10 or $15. You want to jump to the front of that line, you've got to pay, let's call it $17 or $20. You will certainly be included in this first block that transacts within the next 10 minutes. Why? Because the miners who are securing the blockchain are financially incentivized to take whatever transactions and transaction fees that go along with that with the largest values first. But we now, since the user-activated soft fork, have this thing called the Lightning Network, which is a part of the Segwit protocol. What the Lightning Network is a series of smart contracts, a network of decentralized smart contracts that allow you to immediately transact. So if Matthew and Andrew both have Lightning Network Segwit-enabled wallets, they can use this network to transact immediately. And within the first few seconds, it will show up as a confirmed transaction, or at least as a spendable transaction, because it's taking money out of the smart contract pool and sending it over to Andrew, and it's holding the transaction from Matthew in the smart contract until there is room in the blockchain to commit it to memory at a normal transaction fee, or commit it to the ledger at a normal transaction fee. It does this through, like I said, a series of decentralized smart contracts that are held by no one specific individual, and it is acting as kind of a smoothing mechanism for the blockchain itself. As you can see here in my example and in reality, you've got a surge of transactions in this area that are all wanting to transact immediately and be committed immediately. And then you may have, over the next hour or so, kind of a dearth of transactions, just kind of a lower number of transactions that are, less people want to have their transaction confirmed within the next 2 or 3 days or 2 or 3 hours. Most people want it to happen immediately. What Lightning Network does is it looks for all these periods of time where they're expected to have lower network traffic and commit these buffered transactions to where they know that there's not going to be as much demand on the network. The net result is, because this is an inherently cheaper process, you can make a transaction that confirms immediately or is spendable immediately for 1 to 11 cents versus using a non-Lightning Network enabled send and receive method, and your spend immediately balance will cost you between $10 to $40 per transaction. Big difference. Hopefully this explains to you, at least on a very basic level, how Segwit and Lightning Network works and how it can work for you. So now we're going to talk about how to claim your hard forked coins. First, a little bit of an explanation. What do I mean by hard forked coins? If you're familiar with open source technology, you've probably heard the word fork or hard fork before. If you're not, the term is somewhat self-explanatory. Anytime you have code that, and you have divergent paths that it could be developed down, so you've got a group of developers and like, oh, this group A says, I want to keep going down the normal development path, and group B says, I think we have a philosophical difference upon where this code should go. They either come to a consensus on what should be done, or they hard fork, and then you have 2 projects. When you're talking about the world of open source, that's usually a fairly uncontentious, relatively uncontentious process, and very few consequences, if any. But in the world of cryptocurrency, there are monetary connotations and repercussions to such an act. When you see a fork that was like what was in the news a few months ago with Bitcoin Cash or with Bitcoin Gold, it made big headlines, lots of consumer confusion, and then you ended up with 2 cryptocurrencies with very similar names, similar functions, but 2 distinct values. If you log into your Coinbase account today, you'll see a Bitcoin cryptocurrency balance and a Bitcoin Cash cryptocurrency balance. What happened was a group of people said, hey, I want to go with one architecture for Bitcoin. It's going to have faster transaction times, lower fees. The other one said, no, I think Bitcoin should be a store of value. We should stick to the original prescription for the code. And that's what they did. The people that stuck to the original prescription are the Bitcoin folks. Bitcoin Core sometimes is what they're called. And then there's the Bcash folks, the Bitcoin Cash, and they decided they wanted to make some changes. What happens in a hard fork is if you hold the original cryptocurrency, in this case Bitcoin Core, during the hard fork, usually you will end up with 2 balances. One that's you've already claimed in your normal wallet, and second that you can claim if you know exactly what to do and get the secondary wallet of a different balance. What you will likely want to do, unless you really believe in the divergent paths philosophical choices, is you'll probably want to take the forked coin and convert it back to the original cryptocurrency that you hold the majority of your value in. This is what I do usually. I have found, there's a lot of ways to get this done, but I have found that Coinomi is probably the best and easiest tool to get this done. So if you followed along in any of our previous episodes, when you created your wallet, whether you use Jax or Mycelium or Coinomi itself, you have what's called a BIP backup phrase. It's either 12 to 24 words, and you enter it in when you create your wallet. And if you've created a Mycelium wallet, which does not support one of these forks, you can load it into Coinomi, and what you will have is your normal Bitcoin balance, and then you go over here to the hamburger menu, go down to the very bottom where it says plus coins, and then you can add any of these other cryptocurrencies to that same BIP phrase. So as you can see here, here's some other forks of Bitcoin. You've got Bitcore, Bitcoin Plus, Bitcoin Gold, Bitcoin Cash. We're going to pretend as if we have not claimed our Bitcoin Cash. You can see down here that I have a Bitcoin Cash in here, but it does not match the transaction history of my normal Bitcoin account. If I go in here, so there's a reason for that. There's some technical reasons for that I won't go quite all into the details of, but the way to claim your Bitcoin Cash from like the mirror wallet or the same set of private keys as in your Bitcoin Core account is to go into Bitcoin Cash, you go into advanced settings, And there's a specific derivation path that you have to enter in here that tells the wallet that you're going to use the same set of private keys that was in your Bitcoin Core wallet. The derivation path is M/44H/0H/0H. Here's what that means. This is telling you that you want to use the first set of private keys. If you wanted to have multiple wallets, multiple Bitcoin Cash wallets, or multiple of any of the other wallets, you can change the derivation path by going 1H, 2H, 3H, or so on. And you will see that you'll have different sets of balances, and most of the time they'll be zero. Different sets of balances every time you generate a new wallet. That could be useful if you're managing multiple people's cryptocurrencies in the same wallet, or if you're trying to have like a savings account or a checking account or a savings account for a specific thing, that type of a paradigm within your cryptocurrency wallet. In this case though, we want to make sure the wallet knows that it's this 0H derivation path. Click Add. And now what you'll see is as this populates, you can see it's pulling in all the previous transactions that existed on this wallet, which would match up identically to the transaction history on the Bitcoin wallet. If you scroll back far enough, this is a well-used wallet, so it has to go back quite a ways to find that. But the point being is that whenever you pull in this Bitcoin Cash wallet, you'll have the balance that mirrors the balance in your Bitcoin Core wallet. And then within Coinomi, it's just a simple matter of going into Changely or Shapeshift and then transacting those funds from one type to another. So you can just take that Bitcoin Cash amount, whatever that number is, transfer it and go through the little process and transfers directly into Bitcoin. You're all good. You've gotten out of the forked cryptocurrency. You've officially claimed it, reclaimed that value into a cryptocurrency that you actually use. So to summarize, the process would be to take your BIP phrase from whatever wallet you're using, Mycelium, Jax, Coinomi, whatever it is, import it into Coinomi as a new wallet. You'll see your Bitcoin balance there. You'll have no other cryptocurrencies at that point. You go in, you go to add coins, you pick the forked coin of your choice, whether it be Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin Gold, or whatever comes next after that. Pick it up, go to your advanced settings, type in the proper derivation pathway, which is usually going to be 0H, hit OK, and then go through the exchange process to import it into the cryptocurrency of your choice. This is, in my opinion, the easiest way to transfer your value out of a hard forked currency into a cryptocurrency of your choice. The more difficult ways include grabbing your private keys or collection of private keys that correspond to your public keys, manually importing them one by one into a wallet that is supported by the original core developer team, and then transferring them to a third-party cryptocurrency exchange, and then bringing it into a wallet of your choice. This is a simple process that can be done in a matter of minutes that takes care of all the hard work for you, and you can delete the wallet after you're done once you've transferred the currency back into the cryptocurrency of your choice. Well, there you have it, your blockchain and cryptocurrency prescription. As always, these are just my thoughts, and I encourage you to seek out a second opinion. Subscribe for more videos on blockchain and cryptocurrency, and if you enjoyed today's video, share with a friend so they can see. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to see the receptionist on your way out. I'll write your prescription with the information on it like a doctor would do it because I'm Dr. Bitcoin.
Hi.
They have pukey voice. Wow, wow.